Thanks, Kabir, and thanks, Deepak, for inviting me for this excellent topic to talk on. Indeed, these are unprecedented times. I think nobody has began the year with a clue of what's going to come in front of us. But before I get into more details, I wish all those who have joined on the webinar, I hope they are all healthy and all their beloved and themselves are safe. It's just this unprecedented COVID-19 and its impact, which we have seen. I don't think anyone in the world, be it the individual, be it either our business, be it the company which we work for, has not been impacted. I think each one has had some or the other impact. Some industries have got large impact, as both Deepak and Kabir alluded upon. I mean, revenues have shrunk significantly, and while others, the impact may be a bit less. I come from an industry which is an agri-input industry. I'm the global CFO for UPL, and agri-inputs is, in most cases, in most countries across the globe, has been classified as essential commodity industry by most governments. So the impact to us has been a bit lower than other industries, but still, during this pandemic, we did see, with the lockdowns being announced by most countries, we did see impact on the logistics. We did see impact on some of the workers not being available, particularly the contract workers. So I don't think anyone has got, I would say, unhurt, or anyone has got not impacted with this pandemic. Indeed, I mean, I'll jump straight to the topic, which is on the financials. Clearly, preserving the capital, I think, is something which probably, as most of my friends or colleagues on this panel, being of the same, being all of them CFOs, it comes pretty naturally to us. But during these times of pandemic, I think the two very critical aspects are, how do you manage your risk? How do you foresee some of the risk which could entail because of this pandemic? And how are you going to move in an agile manner to see that you protect the assets, protect the capital, protect your colleagues, protect your brand name, which you have earned over so many years, and see how do you take care of these things. And this, I think, is critical because, all those Excel sheets which we have worked on, all those budgeting, forecasting which has been done, everything goes for a toss, and you are probably, as I said, every day is a new day, and you need to prepare to manage the risk in these uncertain times. Having said that, I think also I would like to add here that it opens up really good ideas of innovation, and I'll share a few of them as I take you through how we have been managing, as particularly on the capital side, to begin with the financial capital. Yeah, I mean, there is so much of new ideas, so much of new ways of doing things, and sometimes it makes us look stupid that we didn't do these things in the past when things were normal. But anyway, as they say, when things are tough, when it's difficult times, you always come up with some real new ideas and new thoughts. I think from our side, as a company, we ensured that we kept certain. I mean, as always, we try to keep things simple, but we made sure that we had more than adequate cash on our books. We wanted to keep enough cash to run our business, say, for the next full year, assuming that things don't change or the financial markets go difficult. So I must say that not only did we, to raise the capital, you obviously have to get your audited accounts, March being the year end, and we were right in the midst of the pandemic with lockdowns being announced. But we could see that, all our teams geared up, all working from home, could manage to get the audits done, could manage to, we raised capital, we raised bonds, the US bonds. We are one of the first companies to raise US dollar bond for a 10-year tenure. And we did it in a span of less than 5 days. So, it's just sometimes you think how productive can one get, sitting at home not having access to all what you generally have in an office, but you still manage to do what you wanted to, or what you're almost forced to do it. So again, a strong believer that people come up with new ideas, new ways of working, and see how to do it. But yeah, we made sure that we had more than adequate capital funds on our balance sheet. Some of the other simple things which we did was we made sure that we don't, wherever there are overdue from the customers, we don't invoice to those. We were very clear. Let's not chase sales. Let's make sure we have enough, EBITDA and enough cash flows to run the business rather than just chasing the top line. So that's the other thing which we sort of focused on. Needless to mention, some of your growth plans, you start relooking at those as to whether you want to, step on the pedal, or you want to just take it a bit easy rather than, investing in some of the projects which would take probably a couple of years before you see the cash flows coming from them. So a close eye on the, if I have to say, on the capex spend. And of course, some of the expenses, needless to mention, nobody travels. So those were good savings which one could get. But at the same time, we ensure that, particularly consultants and other things, which as it is, they cannot come to the place of work. We sort of got into delaying their contracts or canceling their contracts. So these were some of the initiatives which we took to preserve the capital. I think the other two aspects which Kabir rightly alluded, which is on the human capital and the social capital, I think extremely critical, particularly in such times as, people, I also allude what Kabir said, we are all very fortunate, we have reasonably good sized houses so we can move around, but there are people, and maybe my own fellow colleagues, not everybody has these sort of facilities, and therefore working from home gets very challenging. So, one thing which we did is we have every week a call, we have a coffee meeting every week, and we also, being a global company, we engage with our all the global finance people around the world, once in a fortnight. All these which we are doing once in a month, but we sort of stepped up on the communication, particularly during these times. And I think it's really helping because, some of the colleagues who don't have the emotional support or have certain challenges at home, we're able to share these things with us. And as a corporate, we also took some initiatives to see how we could support them during these difficult times. So clearly, I would say very, very important to keep engaging with your colleagues, with your peer group, with others in the organization. On the social capital, needless to mention, I think as an organization, we being in the pesticide industry, we could easily turn a couple of our formulation lines into making sanitizers. But again, we didn't make them for selling. We provided them free to pretty much all the, I would say the districts or all the places, towns where we have our manufacturing plants. Those were provided. We also undertook some contract spraying. That's again a very innovation thing. We use sprayers to spray on the farms. And then one of the guys came up with this idea, hey, why can't we use this to spray the streets? So we had these sprayers which were being deployed and pulled out from the farm. Fortunately, it is not sowing season in India. So we pulled out these sprayers from the farms and we used them to spray several of the municipalities and hospitals and other things. So very important to do these things to, it's your time to give back to the society. And I think these are times if you don't come ahead, I probably feel that, I would say it's not, all what we say about our branding and everything has little meaning if you don't come up and live up to these sort of social engagements during these difficult times. So with this, I will hand it back to Kabir. Thank you very much for joining us. And yeah, we'll be around to take my questions. Thank you.